Okay, so I wanted to kind of go through a little bit more on Chapter 2, and here's exercise 6 from the book. When I double click this comp, this is what the window looks like here. And so if I pre-render it, you can get a good idea of what I meant when I talked in class about 3D space. Okay, so this layer here, these layers are just still pictures. And those still pictures are moving in 3D space. As now that it's pre-rendered, you get a good idea of how this works. And we'll be doing stuff like this in class. I'm not going to show you how to do this just yet. Okay, but one of the things I wanted to point out was that when I mentioned in class that you had to use 0 on the number pad, now they've made an adjustment to the latest version of After Effects where you can make a shortcut in the preview window over here for the space bar or the number pad, so you can use those things. If you don't have a number pad because you're working off of a laptop, just change this to space bar, and now when I hit this space bar, now I'm actually doing my pre-render, which is pretty cool. Okay. Now another thing I wanted to point out is these things here. This is called the shy guy, and if I change these things to make the little guy's head pop behind there, and then I enable it over here, those layers that I don't want to look at that I've identified as shy are now hidden. And you can get them back just by turning them off. But it's different from like turning off the eyeball. That means that you don't see it in the window here. That just means that you're not seeing it in the layer window versus not seeing it in the composition window. I hope that's clear. And another thing I wanted to show you is, again, as I mentioned many times before, is that when we are working with multiple layers and things are working really slow, another way to make things go a little quicker is, let's say I'm only looking at a portion of the frame. Over here you have something called region of interest. And so now I can select a region of interest. And so now when I pre-render this, I'm only looking at this little piece. And why is that good? Well, now it's not rendering out the whole portion of the comp, and that's just another quicker way to start to look at what it is that you're working on in that moment. All right, and the next thing I wanted to kind of show you is also more some basic usage here. I mentioned in class about workspaces. If you come over to where it says Window, Workspace, you'll see you have these other ways of viewing these windows. You also have this workspace, same thing up here. So if, let's say I just say minimal, so what that does is it gets rid of some other things. It has no impact on what I'm doing. It's just what windows are currently available to me. If I'm working with something that has more text-based kind of stuff, then you'll see that it comes with the character and paragraph is built in. If I am working with some motion tracking, then it comes with all this. And sometimes you want to have all panels because you're looking for some of these other things and you don't know where to find them. We'll be doing a lot of these as well, but the standard one is the one that typically just comes automatically. If you are using one that is pretty effects heavy, what that does is it makes sure that the effect control window is open over here. And the other thing is that you have access to your effects. And how do you find effects? If I click on a layer, which is important to do first, and then I come over to my effect window, I can type in the first few letters of the thing that I'm looking for. And let's say I'm typing in fractal noise. And so when I click on fractal noise, now I have that effect available to me that I can drag to a layer. And notice that that layer now is obliterated with my fractal noise. I'm going to undo it so that fractal noise is not there. I just wanted to show you so there's a way of, if you know exactly what you're looking for, the quickest way is to just type in what it is you're looking for. If you're just sort of experimenting and you're not really sure what you're looking for, you might select the layer, come under Effect at the top of the window, and then maybe you say, well, I'm thinking about color corrections type of thing, and then you can see what these tools are available to you here. Distort, expression, so there's lots and lots of things here to work with here, and so these are all of them have some importance. Okay, The next thing that I kind of wanted to show you as well is this layer here. We use this layer all the time, okay? It says mode, track mat, okay? And you can move these things around too. Like if you wanted the track mat down here, all this stuff is customizable to the way you like to work. If I hold in the control button or right click over here where it says columns, you get these other things that are available to you here. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about these later on. I'm just showing this to you at the moment. So when we start talking about parenting, if you want to shorten or lengthen a video, this is where you would find it. And so if I selected duration pops up over there. And then if I wanted to select stretch, now stretch is here. If I wanted to say parent, now when that's parenting, so all that stuff is available. But you'll notice now is that my timeline is so much smaller there, so that it kind of starts to, I might need to see this. And I just showed this to you because we're going to be, you can hide this actually, we're going to be using this quite a bit. Because we are going to use these modes. We may not use that for later on, but the eyeball, I tend to like to have it at the very beginning of what I'm working on here so that I have access to that. Let's put the eyeball at the very head here if it'll allow me. So now when I want to turn it on and off, those visibility buttons is what that is. This little button here is a solo button for the people that are familiar with audio mixing. If I just clicked on one layer, so now this is the only layer that is visible at the moment. That's what soloing is in audio, and the same thing here. If you have a layer that's very complex and you want to make sure you don't accidentally mess it up, you can lock it with this little lock button. And again, we can twirl it down and get our transformations. That is probably a good place to stop right now.